the Beatrice 6, there was the issues in the interrogation room. And I know the biggest one that I stress when I talk about the case is there was the threats of the death penalty. And, that's where we have our position, against the death penalty is comes from that, comes from the problems of using that as a threat, and not necessarily whether it's right or wrong to execute someone, but just being able to use that as a threat is a problem.
Well, one of the most powerful uses that Tracy mentioned was the issue of the death penalty, threat of the death penalty. We don't have a whole lot of research on how likely the use of the death penalty as an interrogation tactic can be to result in confessions. But one of the kind of interesting facts that we do know is that in 80% of the states where false confessions have existed, meaning in the database where people have been exonerated, 80% of those states have the death penalty. Now, we don't know whether or not the death penalty was used in interrogation, but it's quite interesting that there's an overwhelming majority of people who have falsely confessed in states where the death penalty exists. Even more interesting is where people have the death penalty as a possibility, if that's known, that law enforcement officers may not even have to say, we have the death penalty here. For the most part, some of them will sort of subtly remind the people that they're interrogating that the death penalty is there and it's on the table, or that it's an option, which again is not illegal, and many law enforcement officers believe is a necessary tool in order to elicit confessions. Again, because police officers are not thinking, I'm going to get a false confession. What they're thinking is, I am absolutely sure when I go into the interrogation room that this person did it. So my entire goal is to get a confession confirming what I already know.